Thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank to the Independence Institute, to the Center for Global Prosperity, led by Alvaro Vargas Llosa. This work on Barter Clubs in Argentina was done together in a team, by a team, Gabriel Gazabe, Gustavo Lazzari, and Martin Simonetta. What are Barter's Club and why we say that it's a market response to the failure of states? I will talk a bit later about what Argentina was, but to give you an idea, Argentina was a very poor country till 1853. In the year 1853, Argentina adopted a constitution based on the ideas of liberty. Juan Bautista Alberdi was the thinker that promoted, influenced to the political leaders to implement this constitution that was based on the defense of individual liberty, property rights, market economy. In the second part of the 19th century, Argentina was converted from a completely poor area to, by the year 1913, one of the countries with the most, the biggest per capita GDP, was ranked number 10th. Argentina, together with Australia and Canada, were appointed to be one of the most successful countries in the world. But the question is what happened later. And since 1930, Argentina started a very complex history, political and economic history, where the government started to play a huge role in the economic area of big political instability. And when we start talking about this, the case of the Barter Clubs, we got to think about the last years of Argentina and the crisis of the year 2001 and 2002. Maybe the next, please. Yes. By the end of the year 2001, Argentina experienced the worst economic crisis in its recent history. After a long period of this big recession and the dismemberment of the country's formal political institution, the existing economic model fall apart. When we talk about this terrible moment of Argentina, we talk about the 3D to try to summarize that process. Argentina experienced a 70% devaluation of our local currency, the peso. Argentina defaulted on its public debt, and bank deposits were confiscated. That's why we talk about the 3D. To give you an idea, in those pictures we can appreciate the reaction of the population, who was the president at that moment of Argentina, Fernando de la Rúa, resigned. In less than 2 months, Argentina had 5 presidents in a very short lapse. In order to, they all tried to recover the terrible economic situation of Argentina, but it was a really hard political situation. But in this context, the people, please, next. More than 50% of the population was below the line of poverty. Unemployment rate was close to 20%. Argentina level of activity was falling down and down. Argentina has a very rich history about destroying different currencies. Between 1967 and 1982, Argentina destroyed 4 current monetary units, and since 1981 to the end of 2001, Argentina had a convertibility regime that linked the peso with the dollar. That wasn't the best policy, but for a 10 years term allowed to the country to control inflation and control the emission as a source of inflation that was part of our tradition. Rubén Rivera, who is the co-founder of the first Barter Club, described that Argentina. Argentina, he said, is a peculiar country. It puts us to the test at every moment and doesn't have the stability we might wish. Last December, for example, when the depositor went to retrieve the capital they had accumulated, they found that the cashiers who handle electronic currency wouldn't return the money to them. That was what we call the corralito, the corral in Argentina. Next, please. In this context, the Barter Clubs were born. It was a private response to the disappearance of the local currency. The Barter Club were born during the year 1995 as a consequence of the recession, the increasing levels of unemployment, but but during the years 2001 and 2002, when the economy was in a terrible crisis, most people had no chance to try to trade their goods or their services to survive in that really hard context. Sorry. Next, please. So the Barter Club allowed the informal currency was born. This boom in the Barter Clubs resulted from the substitution of an informal currency that was relatively credible for a formal currency that wasn't trusted. In that respect, they soon ceased to be Barter Club because an informal currency came to underpin the various exchange between the participants. The Barter Clubs were not a permanent solution, but a private attempt to solve a public problem. The state, as a provider of currency, had failed once more. The fiscal deterioration mortally wounded people's confidence in the currency, leading to an attempt to replace currency through the Barter Clubs. So, next, please. We're gonna see many of these private money that emerged. For example, this ticket trueque for 5 credits that was issued by the Programa de Autosuficiencia Regional. Next, please. Here you can find other 2 examples of this private money from different areas of Argentina. Yeah. Another node were the names of the units of the different Barter Clubs. The previous one, please. Yeah. The other one from El Portal del Trueque. Next, please. And these private bills are an example of the different currencies that emerge as a spontaneous initiative of people, especially low-income people or no-income people, that try to sell their services, the products they made at home. And next, please. Here we can see in that picture how the Barter Club worked every day of the week. Next, please. And if we got to talk about the chronology of the Barter Club, we got to say that in 1995, the first Barter Club are formed. Between 1986 and 2000, the Barter Club experienced a sustained growth. Membership rise from 1,000 to 300,000 as recession, as joblessness increased in Argentina. But the most, during the 2001 and 2002, Barter Club experienced a full experience with membership of 2 million. The big crisis and the freezing of bank deposits make barter the only means of subsistence for an important segment of Argentina. If we have to explain very briefly how do the barter clubs operate, gotta say that they issued their own currency almost from the start. They established a permanent system with regular weekly gathering that allowed the members of small groups to bond. The nodo was the basic unit of this barters organization that enjoyed a clear autonomy in relation to other nodos. It was a competition between different nodes. Yes, next please. Gotta say that if we consider the participants in 1995, 1996, around 1,000 persons were participated in these networks, and by August of 2002, the estimation says that 2.5 million people and 6 million people were involved in this Barters Club. Taking into account that Argentina is a country that has 40 million people, 6 million is around 15% of the total population. To give you an idea of the relevance of this spontaneous organization. So the prosumer was the productor and consumer, a person that produced the good to sell, but at the same time they use that good to buy new goods or services. There you can find different flyers promoting what we call in Spanish trueque. Next, please. Here we can see the evolution of the membership of the Barter Club in Argentina, what I mentioned before, from 1,000 persons to 2.5 million. And another more optimistic, as I told before, statistics says that 6 million was the total people involved in the process. If we talk about the nodes, the basic unit of these barter clubs, in the year 2002, we could find 5,000 nodes starting in 1986 with just 17. To give you an idea about the reality of Argentina, today, 1 out of 2 jobs is informal in Argentina. The role of informality is very, very important. High regulation make almost impossible to hire formally an employee in our country. That's why everybody hires, half of everybody hires in an informal way. And next, please. Next. The other point is that Argentina and most Latin American countries have high regulation, but very low accomplishment of legislation, low enforcement. So, next please. We can observe this also, for example, in intellectual property rights, software is almost free. Medicine, the intellectual property right side of medicine is very controversial. Music and videos are free, especially in a technological revolution moment. Yeah. And here we can see the difference between Argentina in 1913 and the current Argentina. In 1913, Argentina was, as I told you before, an open country. In the second half of the 19th century, 50% of the people that migrated in the world came to America, to the United States, and 1 out of 10 came to Argentina. 10% of the total people that migrated in the second half of the 19th century came to Argentina. Argentina was a land of dreams, a land of prosperity. If we have to summarize that Argentina with just one word, we gotta say that Argentina was an open country to trade, open country for investment, open country for people of all around the world. And that Argentina had a per capita GDP that was 71% of the American one. Yeah. The current Argentina is so far away from that number. We just have our per capita GDP is just 37.2 of the American one, taking a very optimistic statistic to compare. Here you can see Argentina in 1913, when Argentina was an open country to the world. I told you that if we consider just the Italian immigration, that is the most important that Argentina received, we can observe in this table that America, the USA and Argentina received the most important part of the total Italian people that emigrated from Italy. 6 million, around 6 million the USA, and almost 3 million America. The southern part of Brazil, 1.5 million. To give you an idea of how attractive Argentina was. So what we can conclude about this case of the Barter Club in Argentina, that even in the worst situation, the individuals can organize, can develop very innovative strategies to survive, to feed their family, to even without having work, to keep on having food and the basic services. The initiative of the low-income sectors of our society is alive, was alive, and it's alive still in the Barter Club in Argentina. Now our country is living a stronger, increasingly strong process of recession, and the Barter Club are starting to have a very important role in our economy. So to close this lecture, in most of the Latin American countries, many rules are tailor-made by the big fish. The big companies can, together with the government, made rules, close markets, have special contracts, and small fish have the chance to survive because of informality. So, to end this lecture, the case of Barter Club shows us the initiative of low-income sectors of our society and how people, even in very complicated environments, can survive and can show the best of their entrepreneurial spirit. Thank you very much.